It's tea with Mr. V. It's tea with Mr. V.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Good morning, good night, wherever you are. Hello. I am Mr. V, and welcome to the last episode of Tea with Mr. V for this season. It's been wild. It's been crazy, and it's like that. And joining me today is equally. It is how it is. And joining me today is an equally crazy person, RedQueenHails. Haley, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm here to talk about myself for a solid hour, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, we are.
That's
This is totally, just a whole thing about you. Okay, it's just all about you, right? You have an hour of just like internet fame.
But the question is when is it not about me? I'm just saying.
Look, just saying. So yes, welcome to Tea with Mr. V, a show where I sit down with my friends and creators, fellow creators, and we have some tea. In this case, something that's not tea. It's very, very much not like tea, but it's fine. We don't need to talk about that. Yes, so I am your host, Mr. V, from the Adventures of Mr. V on the TikToks. You can find me there. You can find me here on some Fridays where we play a Bioshock campaign. You can also find me over on the BCC, Bard Community College, which is also really cool. Check that out. And yeah, so like I said, joining me today is RedQueenHails, the wonderful, the lovely. Yeah, so where can peeps find you, Hales?
I am basically RedQueenHails on every social media platform out there. It's not difficult to find me. I refuse to rebrand. So if you are on the Twitters or the Instas, if you did somehow magically manage to find me someplace other than TikTok, I'm on TikTok. So I am RedQueenHails basically everywhere. So wherever you sign up for, you can find me. But
Awesome. So yeah, we're just gonna get through like a few announcements. So yes, this is the last episode for this season of Tea with Mr. V. We will be returning in early 2021, hopefully. So, that being said, until further notice, there will not be any Thursday programming here on This Show Is a Mimic after today. But you know what? That's still cool because we still got two awesome programs. We still got the Sorodin campaign, which is on Saturdays, featuring the lovely Bertie the Bard, Miss Sersha, Aaron, Obsidian Olive, and Bender's D&D. They're awesome. Make sure to check them out. They're really cool. And yeah, we also have a Bioshock campaign that happens on some Fridays. We're still working out some scheduling stuff, but make sure to check that out. Check out the VODs. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel on This Show Is a Mimic on YouTube. You can catch all the episodes of Tea with Mr. V this season, as well as all of our VODs for our D&D shows. So yeah, Hales, is there anything you would like to promote per se?
yeah, so for people who actually don't know, I am an artist on the side. So I've worked closely with a few of my friends to create some fun little things for them. But yeah, I make like D&D character portraits. I can do logos, Twitch emotes. I'm basically working on being able to do everything jack of all
Mhm.
trades, master of maybe at least hopefully one or two. But
We'll see.
yeah,
We'll see.
so I just hopefully. I mean, it can only go up
Yeah.
from here, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so I just recently opened my commissions after being on a very shortened hiatus for about 2 months. So, if anybody ever needs any art or anything like that, I am currently accepting commissions for the last few weeks of October and the new month of November, which is insane to think about. But so, like, I do commissions. So, if anybody wants any art, feel free to DM me on Instagram because it's easiest for me to respond to messages there to keep things categorized. And then the other thing is that I am an active member of Dice Cream Sandwich, my boy Kevin's, the Phalai campaign that airs every other Wednesdays at. So for my time, it's normally 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, but we've been having to push it back about an hour and a half due to work conflict. So this coming November 4th, Wednesday, November 4th at 8:30 Central Standard Time, we will have the, oh my gosh, is it the 5th episode? The 5th episode of the Phalai campaign, where I play my Dragonborn sorceress, Margot, who I coincidentally started off as a cosplay. So, yeah, if you want to see me play a very angry dragon lady, feel free to tune in there. Again, November 4th, 8:30 Central Standard Time. I would say all the other time zones, but my brain doesn't want to commute that.
It's fine. People will get if you give one time zone, people will get it. Okay.
At this point, if you're not playing D&D and you don't already know your time zones because you're trying to make it work with everybody else, are you even a D&D player during this worldwide pandemic? Like, come on. I'm just saying.
I mean, considering that, like, my time zone, I am in Australian Eastern Standard Time, where it is currently 9 a.m. in the morning. You know, everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll play at nighttime, we'll play this, you know, we're all free off work, and I'm here like, I want to wake up and play D&D. It's cool.
Well, at least it makes me feel a little bit bad for making you drink something a little bit more caffeinated, considering it's currently 6 p.m. my time. So, you know.
Yeah.
The shoe's on the other foot. I kind of played myself with this choice a little bit. Oops.
I mean, like, you're more used to this at this point.
Oh, at this point, if you cut me open and if I didn't.
Sir, yeah. So yeah, just 2 more quick things. Make sure to check out on the 14th of November at 10 a.m. EST is the Roll for Charity live stream, where a bunch of creators have joined together to do a 24-hour charity live stream. We have put together a whole bunch of programming, other things as well, like a lot of D&D character creation, lore discussion, world building. So if you want to learn more about D&D, and if you want to see a whole bunch of us nerds play D&D, check that out. Put it in your calendar. It's for a really good cause, for the Doctors Without Borders Association. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So remember to put that in your calendar. And also, make sure to leave your questions in the chat. I'm sure there's been like a reminder in the chat, but yeah, make sure to leave your questions for Hails over here. And you know, our moderators will pick them out.
I'm not shy, so feel free to go ham. Whatever y'all curious little hearts have to ask. The generous heart can give.
The generous hearts of, you know, the people who just want to know how, you know, you can look that amazing. It's fine.
I sacrificed a couple of chickens.
It makes sense. I wouldn't put it past you.
It's effective. It's effective. A little medieval, but it's effective.
Yeah. So yes, I think with that, we're going to get into this. Now, this is Tea with Mr. V, and if you haven't seen, I'm not drinking out of my cupcake mug today because I am currently drinking something else entirely. So, Haley, what are we drinking today? I try to say
Cold
as
brew.
someone who totally drinks this all the time.
It's my one true love. It's cold brew. Cold brew coffee.
We're
at 6
drinking
p.m. at
cold
night.
brew.
It's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
It
me
is.
through some tough times.
Yeah.
It's I feel a little bit bad for making you drink it, but you wanted to experience what I feel,
yeah.
and I feel like this is the best way to get that, that realness.
If this is to be the last episode of Tea with Mr. V, it makes sense that I submit to coffee for this one episode.
I mean, we'll see how you feel in a few hours. You might message me going, "Screw you, Haley."
I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it, because your boy don't drink coffee anymore. Your boy drinks tea on a regular basis.
It just means that I'm stronger than you.
Oh. Wow. We may be drinking coffee, but apparently there's tea to be spilled, huh?
Oh yeah, tea to be spilt and burns to be made.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. I totally haven't prepared for this. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing about coffee is once it starts hitting that good old bloodstream, you'll feel it. You'll experience it. You'll know.
Oh.
You'll know.
Oh yeah. I've been sipping on this the entire morning, and yeah, not great. Not great.
Well, it depends. Did you add flavor?
I only made it super strong.
Did you add flavor to it?
I added caramel. I added some caramel syrup that I had, and I was like, oh, we'll add this. Still too strong. It's dulled down.
Creamer?
But it's
creamer.
I don't have any creamer.
Oh, okay. So how I take my coffee.
I had milk.
Yeah, milk. I mean, it's not the best with milk, but if I'm in a pinch, I'll just drown it and be like, okay, cool. So my drink of choice has always been cold brew. Regular iced coffee doesn't do it for me anymore. And it's always cold brew with peppermint syrup all year round, all year peppermint, and a splash of cream. A splash. But it's refreshing, it's amazing, it's my favorite drink ever. The fact that I'm drinking it at 6 o'clock at night can't possibly bite me in the butt whatsoever. No, it's fine. Everything's fine. It'll be fine.
No, of course not. It's fine. It's not like I have nothing planned for today and I'm gonna be buzzed the entire time.
It just means you're gonna think smarter, faster. Yes. I believe in you. You'll get it done. Fine.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Today is about you. And today is about how you are amazing and you're an amazing creator. So, let's talk about the Tickety Talks. The Tickety Talks, the place where we both got the place where we both got, our 5 seconds of fame, as you would put it, I think. Which is, you've continued to grow. You've continued to gather your army.
Well, kind of. So for a while there, I was taking quite a bit of a break because, I truly believe that, I wasn't gonna mark myself as just a pure D&D content creator. Because when I first started making TikToks, it was just jokey stuff that I've kind of privated now. Because I was like, I can't let anybody know that this Haley existed. She doesn't exist. We're moving on. And that was in March, right around the time where TikTok was everybody's escape. Everybody's. And it was just an app that I had downloaded prior. I spent far too much time on it, and I was like, I
Yeah.
could never be ballsy enough to upload anything on here. And then I had someone push me to be like, oh, why don't you make a few TikToks of your art? And I was like, okay, cool. And then I gained, okay, the snowball effect of what happened is I was making art and it was picking up, it was okay. And then I made art of Sarah is Coffee, where I took all the D&D content creators, and I still have a
Yeah.
list of people that I'm going to go through eventually, and I draw them in a fantasy setting. That was where the spark hit.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
when it came to drawing Sarah, and she reacted to it on her channel, I woke up the next day with 3,000 followers. And I was like, oh, prepare to be
Mhm.
disappointed. But I'm going to keep going because apparently this is what the people want. So I
Yeah.
did like one-shot clusters and then Tales of D&D, The Bearded Bard. And I would just take all of them and draw them in a fantasy setting, be it from D&D, Unearthed Arcana, just a standard elf. Basically, just taking them out of a human format. And just being like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what I think you'd look like if you were dragged and dropped into a fantasy setting. So I did that series. I think I'm at like 8 or 9 right now, and there's still plenty more to be had. And that series just
Yeah.
took off. It gained me a lot of followers, and people were like, oh, we really like your art. And my commissions blew up because of that as well.
Yeah.
And that was the spark. And then the dragon costume happened. The dragon costume was the flame. That
Yeah.
that
If,
that
if
was
if art was the spark, this was like the bonfire. The
this the dragon costume was the big one. So because of Little Miss Rona, every year I plan a Renaissance festival costume every year. So like
Yeah.
last year I was a pirate, and
Mhm.
I had a jolly great time, and I was like, okay, as soon as 2019 was over, I was like, okay, on to planning the next costume. And I had always wanted to be a dragon. So I
Mhm.
started planning a dragon costume. And as time went on, I started very early in the year because I was really excited to work on her. Her probably like mid-February. And
Yeah.
as soon as March and April hit, it was looking grim. I was like, should I continue making this costume? I don't even think it's going to happen this year. It's just keep progressively getting worse and worse. I'm like, what can I do with this costume if I do finish her? So I was just kind of thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I see people cosplay on TikTok. Why don't I finish the costume,
Mhm.
post a couple videos of her, and just make some funny D&D content as the dragon, and just
Yeah.
throw caution to the wind, see what happens. Because I was like, I spent all this time making
Yeah.
this costume. I at least want to show it off a little bit if I'm not going to be able to go to a Renaissance fair.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that well, all of a sudden, what was 3,000 turned into like 15K to 20K.
Mhm.
And people were like, we love the dragon. And I had other characters as well. Like I had a rogue character that I still occasionally do. And I was like, okay, yes, I
Mhm.
guess people want the dragon. So I
Mhm.
slowly but surely decided that it was going to be more than just a costume. It was going to be more than just like a quick one-off. It was going to be a reoccurring character.
Yeah.
So I gave her a name, and I don't regret this name whatsoever. Her name is Margot the Dragon, based off of the TikTok sound.
Yep.
Excuse me. Her
Excuse
name is
me.
Margot.
Her name is Margot.
Margot or Mango or Spargo. Oh, yeah,
Margot.
somebody
Yes.
said Spargo.
What's Margot? Her name is
That's
Margot.
that's the entire reason her name is Margot, was that one TikTok sound lived rent free in my head for a solid 2 months while I was making her.
Yep.
And
You know
people
that
nowadays
makes so
ask
much
like, why
sense.
is her name? Yeah, people ask nowadays like, why is her name Margot? And I was like, because I am a stupid parrot who repetitively sings the same thing to myself over and over and over again. So Margot was born.
It just lived rent free for ages, just ages,
Yeah.
and you had to do it.
Every single time I have to introduce her, I guarantee you it takes every ounce of effort for me to hold myself back from singing that. It just
Every time on stream, it's just you like quietly in a corner going, "Excuse me, her name is Margot." Okay, guys, I'm
no.
ready.
If you see me like introducing her like as in character or anything like that, I guarantee you I'm gonna be like bobbing my head silently because I'm like humming to myself. But yeah, that's Margot was supposed to just be a
Yeah.
costume. She was not going to be a character. She was not going to be anything. She was literally just going to be a costume that I wore for a Renaissance festival that never ended up happening. So me really getting emotionally attached to this costume and not having a place to put it was like, okay, if I can't put it out into a Renaissance festival, I'll put it out to the world and see how it fares. And then flash forward, I am still making characters on the occasion. I'm not as actively cosplaying because I'm trying to focus on doing other things besides being a dragon all the time. But I have other characters like the Evil Queen, and I have a Bloodborne based Blood Hunter that I'm still trying to find a good time to film some content for. Margot is still in the works. Again, I still play her on the Phalai campaign, but I'm slowly but surely trying to evolve, and instead of just being strictly D&D and cosplay, I'm also trying to integrate my art back into my channels as well. So how I started was literally I made some art, and then I dressed up as a dragon, and people were like, "We like this," and I was like, "You like this?" And they're like, "Uh-huh." And I am sitting over here with, yellow contacts in, scales that I painstakingly painted on my face, and foam horns going, all right, time to give the people what they want.
Alright, time to head out. This is it.
It was something that I truly was not expecting. I'm extremely humbled that my stuff is so well received. Which is why when people are like, "Oh, you're so popular," or like they mention anything about my following, I'm like, but the thing is that I wouldn't be here without the people who didn't support me. So with everything that had been going on, I still am extremely grateful for the people who follow me, for the people who comment and interact, for the people who, especially like on my Instagram, are actively engaging, especially since I just started a new project on Instagram as well.
I saw.
I completely throw everything to the loving people who support me and follow me on all of my socials. Like, without them, I probably would not have continued to make content. Without them, I probably wouldn't still continue to make content. So I'm extremely grateful for everybody who's kind of stuck along for the ride, even though I've evolved into more than just a dragon and I make puns and make people hate themselves for a little bit. But
it's fine. It's fine. I don't have like little mini aneurysms whenever I hear the D&D pun.
Hey,
it's funny. It's cool content. It's just the what is it? Always the constant like deadpan stare at the end. Just the
oh yeah, it's you drop the thing and then you just drop your voice and stare and then you take a sip.
It's the like the office effect where you just like look off to the camera after saying something and just like.
Yeah, the funny thing is too is that I don't plan those puns. I'll literally just wake up one day and be like, I think this will be funny. I'll film it. I have no scheduling. I have no idea book that I keep written anywhere. I'll just be doing my thing. And then suddenly a pun comes to mind and I'm like, to torture the internet again.
Here I go, off to make people hate me again. Woo! Have you actually gotten?
Have I gotten like hate mail for it?
Well, not like hate mail for that specifically, but like in general, like have you like experienced that kind of hate comments?
So the thing is that I've been relatively very fortunate. Nobody's ever given me any sort of hate comment. I have had trolls. So like if I ever go on TikTok live, there was one TikTok live where it was an extremely warm day and the only thing I was in was a sports bra, which was completely covering everything that needed to cover, and a light jacket. And there was some inappropriate comments that immediately it was like, okay, cool, well, block, delete, report, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been extremely fortunate where I have not suffered at the hands of that. Say that I don't think I probably won't in the future, but it doesn't ring as like funny or true to me whatsoever. It just rings of pathetic and sad. So I'm like, you can troll all you want, but if you're sitting there typing a hate comment on a stranger who you don't even know at all, that's not my problem, that's yours.
Who's really winning in that situation? Yeah.
It's not something that I take to heart because I know I'm a lot more than just what a stranger leaves on the internet. So it does not, it doesn't bother me.
No. Well, I am happy to hear that, you haven't really gotten, like, besides, the occasional troll. I'm glad that, you haven't gotten that, those real hate comments, because I know people who have done, like, very similar stuff to, like, what you do on a regular basis. Like, a lot of cosplayers in itself get, like, those, like, real, get those hate comments. It's like, what, why? Why?
I am a relatively very small creator. Like, there are people, like, there are friends, like, my good boy, Offbeat Outlaw, Michael. He shot up. Like, he gets trolls all the time. And part of me is kind of glad that I stay relatively within a smaller circle. Like, I might show up on a For You page. I might, be people's cup of tea. But the thing is that it's not something that I have dealt with. It's not something I hope that I ever have to deal with, because I don't really know where I'll go. At this point, life is just kind of no plans, just fun. Like, that's the life I'm trying to live right now. So, like, if I make something one day and I post it, cool, but there might be stretches of weeks where I don't post anything. And that's also cool, because the only expectation that I have is to live vicariously however I want.
Yeah, I get that. And you know what? That's good. Do what you do. Just do what you do, and if people like it, that's cool. If people don't, no harm, no foul.
Like, I've been trying really hard to be a little bit more myself and a little less catered to the internet. It's the reason why catering to people has always been a big thing for me. I was always a people pleaser. Especially since I was very much an ugly duckling as a kid. Before I found out I had a thyroid disorder, I basically had all of the signs and symptoms of very clinical depression and all of those anxious things, some of which I still fight with today. But I had what I call the glorious second puberty. I was still very much a people pleaser because it was ingrained into me. So slowly but surely I've been reclaiming that. So it's like, I'm not here to post content for you. I'm here to post content for me. And I hope you hold on and enjoy what I'm posting. But if you leave because it's not what you signed up for, okay, cool. Thank you for sticking around while you did. It's the main reason why I started my Project 365 challenge. So after talking with a couple of my friends and realizing that this year has been very rough and I've sacrificed a lot to please other people and to try to avoid my own problems, I was doing a lot of things that if I was kind of outside of myself, I probably would look and be like, okay, that's very self-sacrificing, very damaging. There's a lot that we can improve upon. And even though it's absolutely terrifying, we should. So I started a little mini project where for 1 calendar year, it is focusing on my own personal growth. And basically just trying to find ways of being a better person for myself and for others as like a side effect. So no like over people pleasing, no promising things that I can't keep if it's not something that makes me comfortable. No sacrificing my time or effort for people who aren't willing to give it back. No exhibiting toxic behaviors that could be very detrimental to myself long term. Really just
Yeah.
focusing on my own needs and priorities before others, and especially when it comes to places and things like in my life where I would normally cave very easily, making sure that I stay on the straight and narrow when it comes to that. So, what Project 365 is to me is that it's every single day I try to find a word of wisdom or something that has kept me on the straight and narrow to remind myself that ultimately this growth will be worth it through the struggle. So, with Project 365, it's things that I've learned from my therapist, it's things and realizations that I've learned through myself, it's things that my closest friends and family have told me, or things that have made themselves apparent through the actions of others. It's things that little bits of info coupled with like little graphics that for 365 days, one calendar year, I'm going to attempt to keep record of so that way I can remind myself of how far I've come as far as progression and motivation goes, the journey of my own self growth. So that's what Project
Yeah.
365 is.
Yeah, I think that's really inspiring. Like, I think it's definitely something that I personally haven't heard of like anyone doing like this Project 365, but it definitely seems like something that not only will like help you and help remind you of things that you need to keep reminding yourself of, but also it's going to help. I think it's going to help other people. The people who do follow you and the people who may have like a bad day and they come up and they see RedQueenHails as did another thing, and it's just like, hey, if she can get through things, so can I. I think that's really good. I think you're doing some good.
I do hope that beyond just being a reminder for myself and like an own little self journal, it does like the intention isn't to hit marks for other people, but again, if it's a side effect that it does do that, then that's great because not everybody experiences the same problems or has the same issues or is going through the same struggle. But the thing is that we can all
Yeah.
relate to one thing in one shape or form. So when it comes to 365 days and 365 bits of information, motivation, moments of clarity, maybe one particular day won't ring with you because you're like, I don't deal with that, but maybe, another day or two will. Um, Especially, it's
Yeah.
nice when emotions become validated. And I think, especially when it pairs with something. So, like, again, I really love being creative. Yeah, words can mean a lot, but they drive it home when
Yeah.
there's some sort of visual aspect to it as well. And it also helps me practice to be a better illustrator because I do want to get to the point where I'm able to, express emotions and feelings through just images, songs, words alone. So I feel like this is a project that encompasses a lot of the things that I've been wanting to improve on all in one go. And I know it's a huge undertaking. I may not reach all 365 days because, shoot, I can't even do Inktober sometimes. But I feel like with the motivations that I have, um, even if I skip a few days or two, or,
Yeah.
may go silent, I'm still going to do my best to keep on the straight and narrow with this because I do feel like the
Yeah.
journey to self growth is a really long and difficult one. And me being who I am, it's one of those things where if I'm not immediately good at it, I want to give up and go back to my old ways. And
Hmm.
I truly want to grow out of that because my biggest thing is I don't want to stop growing as a person. So when I can help other people and not avoid my own issues as well, I feel like it's a lot of good things happening at once, and I really do want to attempt to keep with it.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think that's I think it's very important. Is to realize that you don't stop growing as a person. You never really do until every living moment changes you. Every living moment, is something that could affect you in the future. So making sure that documenting that in a sense, and making sure that you continue to grow and continue to um, become a better person, not only for yourself, but I guess not really for others, but like to make sure that you're a better person to yourself for others. In
Yeah,
a
and the
weird
thing
way.
is, yeah, no, I it's one of those where I'm like, I want to be a better person for myself, but also for the sanctity of the people that I choose to surround myself by. Because there have been times where I've been repeating the same issue, and I'll go to friends, and they'll be like, hey, we're going to call you out on it. And it takes friends calling me out on my issues for me to be like, okay, this is affecting more than just myself. This is something I definitely need to change. Not just for the sake
Yeah.
of the other people, but because it is a detriment to myself. So, like, I am absolutely blessed with a friend group that I have grown over the past few months and the friend group that I have had for years. Like, the people who have chosen to
Yeah.
be in my life, who absolutely am blessed to know, like, they're the true MVPs. Like, they're the GOATs. The people who deal with, like, my crazy chaos and go, like, yeah, we accept you for who you are. Like, they want to talk to me and engage with me. Like, it feels very real across hundreds of miles. And especially for the people who have looked out for me and who have helped me along the journey, either through minor steps or huge hurdles. Like, I can't thank anybody enough. Like,
Yeah.
there's no amount of thank yous in the world that I could give to my support group at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, yeah, watching you grow, not like, and me personally, I've like seen you kind of grow as a person as well, from like when we like always the hanging out in VCs and like stuff like that, and just personal things as well. Like it's really been nice to like see someone grow, not only as a person, but like as like as a creator as well, like expanding your content and doing things more things that you love, like like cosplay, like more art, like, and I can tell you're very passionate about those things. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here for like an hour, 2 hours putting dragon scales on my face for content. I'm not gonna do that.
I will say this: anybody who willingly decides to put dragon scales on them face, I English good. Oof, the coffee's kicking in
Fine,
again.
cold brew good. Cold brew good, English not.
Yeah. So I always joke about it. Like, there have been times. So there was one time where I was getting into dragon costume to film TikToks, and I basically had a whoopsie where I injured myself to the point where I started bleeding, and through a freak accident, I fainted. It was just one of those like, oh, I've hurt myself, thwomp. And I just remember, like, my vision is going. I can't call 911 because I'm a crazy white girl in dragon scales. And I just landed face first, like, on my carpet.
Yeah.
And just woke up like 30 seconds later. Like, I just gave myself like a paper cut. Like, why did I faint? And I was like, I can't film. I need to eat a burger because I'm about to faint again due to blood loss, apparently. So I just sat there in my living room eating like a Subway sandwich that I DoorDashed in dragon scales. And I didn't shoot anything. I just sat there for 3 hours in dragon scales because I spent so long putting them on that I refused to take them off.
You're just there, just like, I will eat. It's fine. Don't worry. Yeah,
I'm
eating can be this, right? Looks in the mirror.
I'm passive aggressively like sipping on my right, like eating my salami sandwich and dragon scales, being like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch the season 3 of Avatar because I'm not taking this off.
I mean, like, it's that moment where it's just like, you know what, this will make a funny story. I'm gonna stay in dragon scale so I feel validated for a bit. Just just so I can make it seem like that.
Oh yeah, for the OG people who followed me, like when I first started cosplaying, I had a barbarian character that I've since retired. So there are just some times where I create characters and I'm like, this is a nice concept. It's really hard for me to pull off. That barbarian character was the one that got away. Maybe it's just because I am not made of muscle like my friend Frashley Art. Follow her if you haven't. She's hilarious and she battle crabs everywhere. I am not made of beef. So my gangly little noodle arms looking like a barbarian just didn't translate well. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, like sometimes a lot of times when I put on a costume, there is an aspect of myself that translates to that character. So I'm able to play them easily. I do not have a lot of
Yeah.
pent up rage just in general, so the barbarian was really hard for me to get into. And I ended up retiring her, and it was a very easy decision for me, which normally decisions like that are difficult. So I think that just kind of was a testament to just how unattached I was to the idea. And I was more in love with the concept than I was the execution. So I made like an EVA foam pauldron. I had fake fur that I put on it. I put googly eyes as rivets that I painted over, so every time you shook it made little rattling sounds. It was hilarious, truly.
I love that.
So her character was like black soot from like forehead to like right in the middle of the nose ridge.
Yeah.
And the amount of black eyeshadow that I smeared on my face to get that all over it
Mhm.
I didn't have face paint. I just had black eyeshadow. So I took like my biggest brush, like swirled it around, painted my face. It looked like I crawled out of a chimney by the end of the night. And I was like, I spent 40 minutes packing black eyeshadow onto my face to try and get good coverage for the TikToks.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't take this off easily. So I sat in it for 2.5 hours wondering how I was going to take it off because it was like in my hair. It was like all over my
Yeah.
clothes. It got everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was a mess to take off. Somebody had video called me in the middle of taking it off, and I actually declined the call because I couldn't let them see me smearing black.
Yeah.
It was problematic. It looked straight up problematic. I was like, nope,
Yeah.
nobody can witness this. They called again, and finally I answered, and I was like, don't look me in the eye. Don't laugh. Don't say anything. Just let me be until I wipe it off. And again, it just looked like I just was smearing black everywhere. I was like, this is so questionable. I just have to dunk my face. So I just hung up, ran to the bathroom, took like my most potent face wash and just swirled it around. There have been times where when I do costume makeup, I'm like, I don't normally care about view count. I don't care about followers. I don't care about comments or likes. But if this does not get the recognition in one way or another, I am going to yeet myself into the abyss. I'm like, I am an insane woman spending 45 minutes packing black eyeshadow on my face on the verge of looking extremely questionable and problematic. And if this doesn't at least get 50 likes, we're done.
Yeah. It's that thing of just like, I spent so long doing this one thing. Give me something to feel validated, please.
Oh yeah. So with the dragon scales, flat out, I'm like, this better turn out good. And it's gotten easier. I updated the face paint that I used to do that. So it was a lot easier than the very cheap costume paint that I had received before. So that cut down like a solid 15-20 minutes of me packing on color. So it's not all hell all the time, but I'm actually getting into Dragon this Saturday. So it's currently Thursday for me. So 2 days I will be getting into Dragon for my job of all things. So you might see some very casual Dragon TikTok. Casual Dragon. But
casual
yes,
Dragon TM.
Yeah, she will be making an appearance. It just, unfortunately, she'll be missing like half of her face because I have to wear masks at work. So like the scales that go along the side of my face and my cheekbones, there's no point in doing that.
Yeah.
It'll be a very casual, like long lost sister of Margot, basically.
Yeah. It's like Margot, with like maybe a bit of disguised self or something. Trying to blend in but doesn't want to blend in too much. But like it's fine.
Yeah, a little something a little bit like that. Like I'm excited to get into her character again. I just legitimately hope that I don't get into her character because I don't want to be like doing things at work and then suddenly whip around and be like, I cast fireball, because that sounds insane. I can't do that in public settings. People will look at me weird, Dante.
Yeah, totally. Uh-huh. It's not like you turn around and see like a Karen and it's just like fireball. You're just looking at them with the intent to just like, I will cast fireball on you and you don't have anything.
Oh yeah. I am blind as a bat, for anybody who doesn't know. I have out of my entire family, me at a solid just freshly turned 26 years old, I am having the worst vision out of anybody in my family. So the contacts, the yellow contacts that I have that I use for Margot are actually within my prescription, but the thing is that my eyes do have to adjust when I need to focus a little bit, which makes me kind of intensely stare sometimes when I'm refocusing on things. Oh, there have been times where I've worn the yellow contacts out just for fun, and I'll be looking at something, and in order to focus, to like squint and do the evil eye, and people won't look at me. I did it at Target once. It did not turn out well. Pretty sure I cleared the aisle. I was just trying to find like the right flavor of rice or something like that. I don't know. Like, I was trying to find like a box of rice. I was like, is this long grain? Is this Mexican? I can't read it. So the contacts make me stare a little too difficult sometimes, and I am hopeful that I can maybe manage being a character without being in character, because it might be a little difficult for me because I might be so excited. Because that's just me. I'm a chaotic little coffee goblin who gets excited too easily.
No, I get it.
But,
yeah, never, ever would have guessed that.
I'm just
and I think
I'm just really flavorful.
Yeah, it's fine.
As a person.
I think it's time to get into some questions. I think so.
Let's do it.
I think we can bring it over. Yeah. So we'll bring it over to the chat, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them, and we'll get them. We do have some questions already. So the first one is from the lovely Arcane Anthems Weston, which is just a casual question. Have you ever Googled yourself?
I have before. I don't want to say it was out of vanity, but it was totally kind of out of curiosity, because I was curious to see where my name would show up. That is actually how I found my TikToks on a YouTube compilation. So there are some. It was really funny. I was always a big fan of those YouTube compilations of Vines. So when people started doing it for TikToks, especially it was like TikToks that butter my biscuit, or TikToks for horny bard time, or like TikToks for hot warriors, and it was like all D&D themed. I was in a TikTok compilation for horny bards, and it was me in the dragon costume doing the laugh with the ha 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 roar audio, and I think that one is still to this day quite possibly my most viral video. And that was the first time that I ever saw myself on YouTube. I was like looking through the comments, and people were like, who's the chick dressed as the dragon? And I took every ounce of my will to be like, that's me, because my YouTube is currently under my old username.
It's me.
Yeah, so my YouTube isn't under my current tag. It's under my old one that shall not be named. It wasn't very. It was creative in a way that it was very cringy. So I was like, they cannot know. They will never know. So yeah, I googled myself and found out that I am in some YouTube compilation for horny bards, and there a lot of people will take like screenshots of some of my videos and be like, like reference for later, especially if it's like a costume forum or something like that. So more often than not, nothing's ever been really problematic with Googling myself or anything like that. it's mainly just like links to my account, pictures that maybe have been reposted somewhere else. But I have Googled myself, and that's how I found out
Yeah.
I'm on a TikTok compilation for horny bards on YouTube.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, cool. It's definitely interesting seeing like yourself in like YouTube compilations. I've seen myself a few times, and it's just like, oh, that's me. Oh, cool.
It's like I shouldn't be here is the first thought that comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like why am I here? Because always those compilations, I'm always surrounded by really amazing creators that I really look up to, and that I love considering my friends. So like
Yeah.
a lot of the repeated ones. So like Sarah's Coffee, Offbeat Outlaw, One Shot Questers, The Bearded Bard, like all the big name people. Like whenever
Yeah.
I'm in a TikTok compilation with them, my first thought is I'm not worthy. So it's extremely humbling. So
Yeah, exactly. I think we got another question from Rudolph Movo. Do you prefer playing villain characters or hero characters in D&D?
I have characters for sort of like every need. Currently, most of my characters that I have played have been anti-heroes. So, I have three main characters that I like rotating through the most. Margot, the Dragonborn, has always been my number one baby in my heart. She's the easiest for me to get into character for just because I've spent the longest on her backstory. Then I have May, who is a tiefling cleric, who I played in a one shot before. By all turn of phrase, is a precious small being who should be protected at all costs. And I love her in the way that I love somebody who I think should never ever have any harm come to them.
Yeah.
Backstory, while not extremely tragic, does have some sober moments to it. So I do love her as well. And then there is my new character who I'm hoping to cosplay some TikTok content for, is Selene, who is a blood hunter. And she is one of those who the job is whatever she gets paid to do.
Yeah.
It's no matter of moral obligation. It's whatever the job she got hired to do is the job that she will do. So a lot of my characters, their moral ambiguity is based on their past, how it shaped them, and what their current mission is. So two of those are anti-heroes, where they're literally just whatever gets the job done, regardless if it helps or hinders. And then,
Yep.
of course, there's May, who couldn't hurt a fly if it said kill me. And she's just about as good as it could get. And
Yeah.
it's easy for me to kind of be helpful, but there are just some times where I'm like, don't do it, you stupid little girl. And she's like, I'm going to help them anyway. So like, I don't necessarily
the little
say-
character voice in your head is just like, no, don't do this. Like,
yes. So like that's kind of that. Like I can't say I'm good at playing heroes or villains. I'm good at playing characters that have general meaning to me. If they have aspects of my personal life that I can really role play out, then it's easy for me to get into their character. Right now, personally, anti-heroes tend to be the thing I am currently playing.
yeah, cool. We have another question from We Duffy 93. Duffy, we love Duffy here. Big simp for
I do
Duffy
love
here.
Duff. I do love
onto-
Duffy. They're so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, yes they are. Very much so. And they want to know, is your drawing style self-taught, or did you study at a college/university?
So it's a little bit of both. I started seriously drawing when I was in middle school, purely based on the need that I was not good at sports and I needed to be good at something. So my grandma, of all people, was my biggest proprietor for me embracing my more creative side. because my sister was extremely sporty, whereas I was not. And I was very unhappy with being forced to play sports. And my grandma worked at a hobby store at the time, so she would come home and she would basically gift me and my sister all of these creative things for us to do together as family bonding time. My sister didn't take to it very well, but for some reason I did. So my grandma kind of saw something in me
Mhm.
before even I knew about it. So she was really the first proponent for me embracing the creative side of what I had. So she would bring home crafting, needle felting, making little lizards out of beads, if anybody remembers those. And
Yeah.
then she started buying those like art kits where it was like markers, colored pencils, paints, like all in one, like really cheap things. But she would get them for me. And I remember I started I grew up with like watching Sailor Moon, Digimon, Pokemon. So I was really enamored with that style. So I started taking that really seriously. Um so my grandma was like buying me art supplies all the time. I would draw on like my ruled papers. And when I got to middle school, there was suddenly an abundance of art classes that were available. And me being, hey, I'm not good at sports, but I can at least be good at this, took all of them available. Basically, if I wasn't doing some sort of mathematics or arithmetic or, general geography or history, I was in an art studio somewhere. So that rolled into high school where I took every available art class there, and I would still draw on my free time. There was an old website called Tagaki where all the comments were hand drawn, and I used to use my old bamboo fun tablet to draw on that all the time. And I would role play characters that I would make. And it just kind of evolved. Like I never stopped drawing as I was like, well, if this is a talent that not a lot of people can have, then I should be grateful that I have the ability to do this. So I want to cultivate it.
Mhm.
So art for me just kind of became a thing that I felt like I was pegged that I had to do because I wasn't good at anything else. But then it turns out I maybe have had the innate ability all along. So if it was not for my grandma, I probably never would have picked up a pencil seriously. So every single day I think of if I made something beautiful, it's because of her. So half of it is classical
Mhm.
training, like for all the classes that I took. The other half is stuff that I've learned personally over the years that either I've self-studied through reference books or just piecing apart styles, following other really amazing creators on like Instagram and kind of piecing apart their style and seeing what makes their style theirs. So my training is a mix of both what I have learned from others versus
Yeah.
what I've learned from myself and how I've evolved through that. My style is constantly evolving, but there's always little bits and pieces of it
Yeah.
that like remind me like, yeah, no, this is like, even though these things may change over time, like this is still my style.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. I think we've got time for maybe 2 more questions. We have another question from Rudolph Mevo, and it's kind of in a similar vein. Are you a professional makeup artist or more of a general one?
So I am currently considered a prestige makeup artist. So like that's my day job. Were not COVID, I would apply makeup to other people, but unfortunately the whole social distancing thing, plus also being sanitary and safe for the sake of the whole world, I can't apply makeup to people in a sanitary environment. I have professionally applied makeup for weddings and things like that before, but really what I do on myself is all self-taught. I
Yeah.
never went to like any sort of class or anything like that. It was literally watch YouTube tutorials, spend entirely too much money on fancy eyeshadows, and spend 6 years trying to find the one black eyeliner that will rule them all. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like I do professional makeup. Currently, with the way things are, the only makeup that I ever apply is to myself. So I have had training for it through my job, but really a majority of what I have learned has been through probably about 5 serious years of like delving into it. But my confidence definitely shot up with it once I shaved my head, because I was like, cool, I can't hide behind the majority of my hair now. Let's play this up. So that's when I started getting a little bit more gung-ho about more creative looks versus just, your standard neutrals. I was like, well,
Yeah.
if these cheekbones can cut diamonds, then this eyeliner can cut a bitch. So let's get this ball rolling.
Yeah. That's awesome. Just, whew.
Yep.
And yeah, I must say that, like, I think, yeah, there have been times where, like, we've been, like, on, like, our Discord server, and, like, I've seen you go from, like, someone who just woke up with, like, cold brew in hand and just, like, deadpan staring at the camera to looking as amazing as you do. Like, I have personally seen this process, and
it's a real Cinderella moment. It's like,
yeah.
who is that? Who's the sleep-deprived one with a messy bun versus who's this with eyeliner and bold lipstick? And I'm like, psych! It was me all along.
Yep. It's been me this whole time.
What you see is what you get, except for when you don't.
You know what? I think we got time for one last question. And I think it's been in the kind of similar vein of everything that we've been talking about. Another question from Duffy. What's the secret to killer winged eyeliner?
Okay, so it really depends on comfort level of what kind of material you're okay using. So with winged eyeliner, there are multiple ways that you can do it. There's like liquid, there's creams, there's gels, pencils. Everybody normally starts with a pencil because it's kind of like the easiest to acquire. It's the cheapest method. But the issue that I have with pencils is that it's not precise, which is the reason I love liquid. But the thing is that liquid can be very intimidating to people who don't have a steady hand, who haven't built up that trust, especially when it comes to getting close to their eye. So what I do with people who are wanting to try winged eyeliner without kind of like investing a lot of time is I call it the tape method. And what I take is washi tape. I line it up with my eye. I do this every morning, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. You think this is hand drawn every single time? Nah. So like, I take a little piece of tape, I lined it up with my bottom water line so that way it comes out, and I make sure that it's symmetrical on both sides. And then I take my eyeliner and I literally just like drag it from my outer corner in to the center of my eye. But for people who aren't comfortable with doing that with liquid, you can still technically do it with pencil as well. So basically what the tape does is that it just creates that really sharp edge. And then all you do is you literally just remove the tape and it just creates that sharp edge for you. You can also do this with eyeshadow. You can do this with gel. You could do this with crazy colors too. So like if you want a really nice, fine, defined straight line until you get comfortable with what it is that you're using, tape. You can get like a 50-cent thing of washi tape from like any craft store or even like Walmart, Target. Like even regular tape works, but I just like the tackiness of washi tape because it's easy to remove and it doesn't adhere so harsh to the skin, and it's not like gonna pull anything off. So like straight up,
watch someone like put duct tape on their skin now, like.
Oh, I've seen people. So like there are people who will literally like put glitter on their eye and be like, "Oh, pretty, yeah." The tip to removing glitter is you pray, because removing glitter, awful. There are people who literally will take tape, press it to their eyelid, and then remove it to get glitter off. And I see that. I'm like, how do you have any lash? How? I don't understand. But like, there are tips and tricks to makeup that makes really insane things look really intimidating a lot easier. And if you want a really sharp cat eye, tape, my number one go-to. I am 26 years old, and to this day, I always reach for tape whenever I want a really fine cat eye, because I ain't got time to hand draw that stuff. Not every day. Unless I'm doing a really funky liner. No, I'm reaching for tape.
Cool. Yeah.
Down in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. It do be that simple. It really do be. So yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today.
Oh, that was an hour? That went by quick.
Yeah, that went real quick. It probably the cold brew.
Probably. Not gonna lie, probably the cold brew.
I mean, cold brew for me at least, because boy, about to have the zoomies. So yeah, I think that's all that time we have for today, and I think that's all the time we have for this year. Like I said, we will hopefully be returning early 2021 with Tea with Mr. V. But as said at the start, this is the final episode of Tea with Mr. V, for at least this year. So, Aaron, is it possible if you could just, have the mystical voice come on for like a second? Oh my god. Oh my god, Aaron. Okay.
Due to technical difficulties, Aaron is in our heads, but not in yours.
Yes. So, just,
Wait, haha, I fixed it. I am here. Hello, the mythical voice that is Aaron.
Okay. The mythical voice that is Aaron. He is here. So, I just wanted to, I wanted to thank, a few people for making this possible. I wanted to thank Aaron for making this possible and making, Tea with Mr. V possible. Because if it wasn't for Aaron helping me get this set up, this wouldn't have been a thing.
Yes, every technical difficulty you can blame on me. Yes.
That is not what we're saying here. We're trying to be nice and sentimental, Aaron.
Jeez, Aaron.
But yes, if it wasn't for Aaron, we wouldn't have done this. So thank you so much, Aaron,
it's been a
helping
fun
me.
season. We've had a lot of wonderful guests like Miss Haley here, and we hope to bring you more in early 2021.
Yeah, we hope that we're able to bring in some more guests, some more interesting people, bigger people, hopefully. We will see. But yeah, I want to thank every guest that has been on for their time. I want to thank Haley, wonderful Haley, for coming on today and joining us on the season finale.
Thank you for having me. I hope I was entertaining enough talking about makeup and fun things.
It was fun. It was awesome. I loved it. And yeah, I want to thank you all for sticking in, for coming out and watching this little show that was grown into started off as like a little TikTok series where I drank tea in front of a camera with the cupcake mug that I has a story to it. That we'll get into that on my episode of Tea with Mr. V. One day. But yeah,
if I
started off there.
If I interview you in the last 30 seconds, I'd just be like, on the season finale, plot twist. Now I interview V.
Ooh. Yeah, we're actually going for an extra hour, guys, just so Haley can interview.
Please
it's
don't
fine.
promise that. Please don't promise that. That makes my job harder.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's okay,
think about
Aaron.
Mr. V, would you like to take us out for the last time of 2020?
I think I will. So everyone, thank you for coming. Haley, thank you for coming. And for the last time of 2020, that's the tea for today.
It's tea